Sucking on my titties like you wanna me, calling me all the time. "2024, it's over. It's the end of the world as we know it." We're not gonna get into the politics of 2025, but we're gonna talk about things that I liked and didn't like. The 3x3 is here. Something I stole from Trash Taste last year for the end of the year, and I actually really like it. So we're gonna do it again. I was gonna do a good, bad, bad, good, great 3x3, and instead I'm just gonna do the great one. But I'm gonna list off a couple things. Things I think are really good. One, manga. We see some manga on this list. We'll get to them, but I've been reading a lot of manga, and I think are really good. Helk, fantastic. Haven't read the ending yet, but it's really good. Akane Banche. It's really good. I'm just gonna say that this is about Japanese poetry. I forget the name of the special kind of poetry. Good job, Cody. This is why you should write a script. But it's just really intriguing. It's got really fun characters and really good art. And even though it's a thing I know nothing about, it's just done in a really interesting way and a good way to it brings in. I think it knows that it has an audience that isn't entirely familiar. I don't know how popular the type of poetry is in Japan, but U.S. Western audiences probably know nothing about it, and I think the manga does a really good job. Mashal, still really good. It's over. I've not read the last volume yet because it's not technically out yet, and I'm a paper boy, not a digital boy. Also started reading Mission Yozakura Family. Also fantastic. Really like it so far. It's been really cute. The 9 English volumes that have been printed out. All these things could change because I don't know how they've gotten in their current digital or online form. These series are much further than they are on paper, but I like paper. I don't know, simple boy. Kaiju number 8 also been really good. Did not like the first volume. I think the first volume and a half are not very good, but then it gets going and it's really good. Missing from last year's list, Sakamoto was on here. I just haven't liked the last couple volumes as much. They're fine. They're still good. I still really like the series. Sakamoto uses a fucking fishing rod to drag up a car from falling off a bridge, and like that's peak. It's peak. That's cinema right there, baby. And then lastly, something that definitely should have made the list, probably, but it didn't. It was really is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. That's sure as a name. This is amazing. It's probably gonna make the list next year. It's really cute. There's only a couple volumes out. I think it's kind of why I didn't put it on here. But right now, it's one of my favorite manga. It's the most anticipated manga I am for a release right now. It's so simple. It's literally Smoking Behind the Supermarket. It's basically one location. And it's just characters. It's really good writing. And it's just simple, fun. It's people, and it's romance, and it's really good, and I really like it. And check it out. Anyway, that's all the mangas. Movies, Wolverine and Deadpool was fine. 7 out of 10. Too many cameos. And then Arcane, we're gonna put a little thing, editing Cody, put a little thing in this little black box you made for yourself. I watched both seasons this year, actually. Season 1 I watched the beginning of the year, like Marchish. And then season 2 I watched, obviously, not long after, not when it came out, but not long after. I think season 1 is pretty good. Season 1's good. Not pretty good. I think season 1's a 7 out of 10. I think it's a little overhyped. I also have no League. I know people say, oh, you don't need to know anything about League. I think for the most part you don't. We'll get to that in season 2. But there's definitely some pause. I feel like there's some pause and when clap. Like there's definitely moments where it feels like you're supposed to wait and clap. Like the first time Heimerdinger was introduced in season 1, I remember that was definitely like a pause for clapping moment, and it just like felt made the scene really awkward because I don't fucking know who this guy is. I don't know who this hamster motherfucker is. But Arcane season 1 voice acting is voice acting is amazing, sound design amazing. The art is really good. Obviously, and then just so didn't care for a lot of the characters. And also, I think the action was over. Like, people really hyped up the action. I think outside of the for season 1, the Echo versus Jinx fight near the end, the action wasn't. It was fine. I just don't think there's anything to write home about. Anyway, season 2, much better action. I think season 2 has some really good action. Um, I think it's too long. I think the episodes are too long. I think as good as the animation is, they do a lot of sitting, like, because it's expensive. Animation's expensive. Good animation is expensive. But because the episodes are like 40, 45 minutes each, I mean, for 8 episodes, it's a lot of animated. And so I feel like it kind of stylizes some things a little bit, but I feel like it gets away with screenshots a lot more than, like, for how mercilessly Blue Lock has been eviscerated for its season 2. Now, granted, that's also the action. That's everything they're doing in screenshots, but I think for Arcane, I think it gets away with. It's surprising I've not heard a lot of people complain that I feel like they do use a lot of still images, a lot, or just a lot of boring images, because I just think it's too long. I simply think the story that they're trying to tell with the animation style they're going for is just too long. But in season 2, it's just that's especially where it comes all. Even though I say it's too long, it's also too short because all the shit they try to cram in. I really just think it should have been a more concentrated storyline. I mean, it should have just been the Jinx. It should have been the Jinx and Vi storyline. All this shit with Jace, all this shit with the Arcane and the other fucking countries and the magic and the and the fucking whatever the fuck Victor was. It's just. And then all suddenly now a lot of these characters haven't even shared a dialogue together or all banding together to fight. Now suddenly there's a Victor and the fucking Amara. Amara is now a sudden threat, and they're coming to destroy Piltover, and comes out of nowhere. Also, Jace is a terrible person who does not get punished enough for his actions. I don't care that he dies at the end. I also didn't know. I honestly did not know he died. I was reading people's opinions afterwards because I was curious how people thought of season 2. People like season 2. Season 1, 7 out of 10. 7.5 maybe. It's pretty good. Season 2, 4, 5. It's not very good. It's very pretty. It's very well voice acted. I think it's prettier. It's prettier than season 1. Again, some of the action scenes are just. But the content is not as good. It's just so everything bad that will happen can happen. It's just way too depressing just to be depressing. I don't actually like any of the characters. And then I think at the very last episode, they just fucking cram a whole lot of shit in. And it's just a mess. So I think it would have worked better as it's simplified, just focusing on that Caitlyn Vi story. Vi and Jinx storyline. But yeah. So moving on from Arcane Season 2, a couple other bad things I want to mention. Video game companies. Put them up there. Microsoft. Microsoft. Fucking canceling Tango Works editing Cody. And just how Microsoft handles its studios and its closures, and it buys them, and then it just either makes them not make games, or it doesn't advertise their games. Again, like Hi-Fi Rush was never set up to make money. Like it was always Microsoft set it up to fail financially, but it was a critical success. People loved it, and they said, "Oh, okay, fuck you, closing the studio down, eat shit and die." Sony just general handle of how they've handled the PS5, and it's just fucking remasters after remasters after remasters. Nintendo gets away with the Wii U, the Switch Wii U a little more, just because a lot of people didn't play the Wii U games, but Sony's doing it with games that like all of their player base has played. And like fucking, why are we getting a Horizon remaster? Did that come out? I don't remember if it came out yet. The fucking Last of Us Part 2 remaster, like why? Even Last of Us Part 1 remaster, like why? Why are you doing this? Like, these are all games that everyone who owns a PS5 has probably already played. And if not, that there's the PS4 versions of those games on the console already. And then the PS5 Pro, super expensive, super just underwhelming. And then Sony just seems very out of touch and just kind of But hey, Astrobot. Um, and the last negative thing I wanted to mention, which will lead into the 9x9, 3x3, 10 minutes in, is Slam Dunk. It's on here. And you're like, why is it a negative? That ending is so fucking bad. It is one of the worst endings in manga, which is weird because like I never heard of people shitting on the ending. When I did Google it, definitely a lot of people seemed unhappy after I finished it, and I was like, what are the opinions? There was a lot of negative opinions, but when people talk about bad manga endings or bad anime endings, I don't ever hear Slam Dunk brought up. I think it's one of the worst. I think it's really, really bad. Absolute shit show. Just a terrible, terrible ending. However, it still makes this list. I didn't start reading it, and this is also, if I didn't preface, this is stuff that I've experienced in 2024, not stuff that has released in 2024. But yeah, so that's why. Anyway, Slam Dunk I actually started reading in 2022 or 2023. Started reading in 2023. But then maybe the first 10 or so volumes, and then bulk of it I read in earlier this year. And again, phenomenal. So good. I did not expect. I don't like basketball. I don't really care for sports manga. It looks so boring. Just some of the art, the screenshots, it just looks so boring. It's funny. It's fucking laugh out loud funny. Holy shit. I did not expect it to be so funny. And then even the basketball, like, I mean, for me, the best part, honestly, I just like the characters. Characters are great. They're all really fun. They have great chemistry. Just a great group of guys. And girls, both girls are good. And the coach, and then fucking the friends, the squad. Like, it's just really good. And it's really fun. I don't know why I have headphones in because I don't have anything going right now. But it's really fun, and it's really funny, and the basketball is really good. The art is amazing, phenomenal, so good. Very sweaty. A little too sweaty. Like physically sweat, like not like try hard sweaty, like physically he draws a lot of sweat. But it's really good. It's really fun. And the actual last basketball game is the best one. It's the best basketball game. It's so good. He handles the drama of just writing a game of basketball so well. It's not bullshit superpowers like Kuroko no Basket. Like, it's just really well drawn, really well constructed drama in a basketball game with characters. I mean, I think it helps. The characters are fun. Characters are fun even when they're playing basketball. They keep all their personality and their banter. And it's just really great. And then it just ends. He just decided that he didn't know how to top the last game. So he just decided to end it instead of continuing this tournament, which this was like the whole series was definitely set up to end. Like, it was never gonna go past this one season. Like, yeah, they could have kept going, with more after the seniors, and since not all the characters were graduating, only a couple, it technically could have kept going. But I think it was clear that it was gonna end with this tournament, and I never expected Shihoko to win. Like, these sports series, they usually don't end. I mean, half and half. Like, half and half of these like underdog stories actually end with the team winning. I honestly didn't expect it, but it just ends in the most quick. It's like one chapter. It goes from amazing hype basketball, game ending, celebration, next chapter, boom, it's over. Very quick epilogue. It also just ends very unsatisfactory. The main character's hurt, and like, yeah, there's some hope behind his recovery, but it still just feels very negative. Like, fucking, God, I can't remember the characters' names now. Gorilla doesn't get into the school he wanted. Like, even though they finished beating a really. Also, they beat the best team in the nation, best team in the country, and then they just lose off screen. So okay, we just lose off screen because they tried too hard and they just didn't have the passion to continue. It's kind of, and I was like, yeah, that makes no sense. These boys are so pumped up after playing the best basketball of their lives, they're not just good. They're not just like, they did not peak. I feel like the author thought he peaked, so he wrote it in. The characters thought they peaked, and so the characters just lose off screen. No one ends up happy. The love triangle is never resolved, even though it's hinted near the end that they were gonna share feelings for each other. That never happens. Main character is hurt. Dennis Rodman is hurt. Is in physical therapy with a small glimmer of hope, but still, no one makes the schools they want, and fucking, I don't know, the coach probably died or something. I fucking probably missed that or some shit. Someone's dog probably got ran over. Like, it just ends in such a gloomy, sudden way. God, it's so bad. But up until that, it's literally one chapter, maybe two. I think it's one chapter. Every other chapter is chef's kiss. It just takes one fucking chapter and just, it's so bad. I still recommend Slam Dunk. However, just be prepared for, maybe just don't read the last chapter and just pretend that it just is on a different hiatus. Pretend it's Hunter x Hunter. Which he actually said recently, the author, not Hunter x Hunter, Slam Dunk, said he might bring the series back, which, it's been like 30 fucking years. Fuck you. Don't you fucking dare. Anyway, there's 6 minutes on Slam Dunk. Moving forward. Game of the year. Astrobot. I am Astrobot. I almost didn't put this on here because there's already a lot of video games on here, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to do. It just felt fitting. I like it. It was fun. I think it is very possibly the best 3D platformer ever made. Yes, better than Mario 64, which I don't think is a very good game. Yes, better than Mario Odyssey, which I do think is a good game. It's just fantastic. It's just so much fun. The controls are so tight. Everything is designed really well around his moveset. Your moveset's pretty limited, but everything's designed so well around it. And plus, you get these little animal buddies pretty frequently, or in different little mechanics here and there that change things up. There's some hard levels that are optional, but they are there for the challenge. 100% of the game. But the actual platformer, the bosses are fun. But I think platformer bosses are almost always terrible. Bosses are really fun. Just a good fucking time. Great game. Very deserving game of the year. It's not my game of the year. It's you down. Can I point? I can see. Nope. God, I can't. Nope. Am I stupid? Okay, there we go. Wow. Are we keeping that in? Cut. Where's my little director's snappy? Where's my director's thingy? My snappy snap. Any taters. And then we're going someone who is a repeat. I think the only repeat on this list from last year is Ado. And she's also, spoilers, I'm going to say it, she's going to be on the list next year because we're actually going to go see her. She's coming to doing another global tour. And she's coming to the West Coast. So I snatched up some fucking tickets. I'm so goddamn excited. But Ado is a faceless Japanese pop star. She did music for One Piece Red and one of the Spy Family openings, and as well as just a bunch of original music. A lot of covers too. I think she has a lot of Hatsune Miku music, but her originals are good. Her music's just so fucking good. Her voice is incredible. I love just everything about her music, and she's my favorite music artist of all time. I'm just gonna say my favorite artist of all time. It took me way too long after One Piece Red to actually listen to her other songs, even though I love the music in Red. But I never actually listened to the other stuff, and it's better. Honestly, a lot of her One Piece stuff is pretty tame, but it's still really good. But her music is so fucking good. Her voice is so good, just wonderful. So because also again, see her next year in concert. So I'm assuming that will make the list unless it's a fucking fuck up. But I've only just like 2 concerts in my life. But we're not gonna get into that because it's already minute 20. Anyway, moving on. The trio of indie jrpgs. I almost want to put them in their own one box, but I decided to give them their own line. We're gonna give him a whole line. Technically, I think these are all 2023. Chain Deco's, I think, was actually like December 2022. Also, Cassette Beast Steam release might have been 2022 as well. Its Switch, its console release was 2023, but I think it's been on it's been 2021 or 2022 since it was on Steam. And then Cody fact check me or something. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not your boss. But this trio of indie JRPGs, they're fantastic. If I had to pick one that's better than the rest, it's Sea of Stars, but I think they're all 9 out of 10s. Sea of Stars might be 9.5. They're just really fun. The combat's fun. The Cassette Beast had really good dialogue. Like, I really liked some of the dialogue in Cassette Beast and some of the jokes in Cassette Beasts. Chain Deco's has some of the best combat and some of the best overworld, and it has a fucking checklist. And God, I come over checklists. It's got a weak characters. The story's got a cool concept, and I think the story's very intricate and interesting. But the characters are all really weak. But the combat is amazing. It might be the best JRPG combat I've ever played, honestly. Legitimately might be the best turn-based combat of all time. Sea of Stars, it's also really fun. It's got more of a Chrono Trigger, Paper Mario-esque combat system. It's got better dialogue, better story, better characters compared to Chain Deco's, but not shit on either game. Both games are really fun. Cassette Beast is a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon-esque game, but it's very narrative driven, and it's super interesting. And all three games are fun and well deserving of their own spot. And so I almost put Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth here over Astrobot or over one of these, but that game's fun. It's really good, but I really wanted to give a shout out, especially since the point of doing a best of 2024 also isn't just including stuff that not from this year, that I just didn't experience. So as a huge JRPG fan, I think we got 3, and I think a lot of major JRPG studios just don't fucking make them. Square, come on. When does them Squares make a fucking turn-based game? That all 3 of these games just have really good turn-based combat, and they're just all fantastic and worth your time. I just talked about a shitload of manga. A couple of these could have made the list. Free Run is the best manga I've read this year. It's just I love fantasy, and the fact that fantasy as an anime fan, a manga fan, it's also hard. There's not a lot of fantasy right now, or it's all isekai. Or it's video game adjacent stuff. And I don't want a video game. I just want fantasy. I don't want isekai. I just want fantasy. I don't want a video game isekai. I just want fantasy. I think Free Run is actually really fun when it's just these one-offs. These one-off adventure chapters. Some of the overarching plots are good. The tournament arc, the Golden City. I mean, they're all good. Everything they've done is good. But I think the series I just like the little one-off adventure chapters. It feels very D&D. It's just so many. I love all the side quests. It's just really well written with really fun characters. Free Run is fantastic. Fern is also fantastic. I have their Nindoroids up here, but can't reach. Too lazy. Put on post. The characters are really well written. If you haven't heard of anyone who's gotten 27 minutes in this video has heard of Free Run, but I have not watched the anime. I'm a manga guy, but the manga is chef's kiss. Again, we are in the English version, so we just finished the Golden City. And they're starting a new arc after that, but I have not gotten to that because I like paper and I like English. Also, I didn't bring a volume. I brought all these volumes down, but I didn't bring a volume of Free Run or Slam Dunk. Am I stupid? Don't answer that. But moving into animation, is the Rascal Does Not Dream. Also, I didn't have a fucking volume. I have Rascal right there too. God damn it, Cody. Plan ahead. Rascal Does Not Dream of series. It was an anime for a season, and now they've just been doing the light novels and movies, short little movies, because it's not full. I think there were 3 movies. These 2 were a doubleheader, because each one was like 40 minutes. The last one maybe like an hour and a half. It was a little bigger, but these 2 are shorter. More so, I once thought about just putting the first one, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Sister Venturing Out. It's the better of the two. It's the first of the doubleheader, and it's the better of the two. But since they were literally in theaters together, I decided to put them both on here. This is a Spanish poster, I think. That's what I could find of them. But I really like the Rascal Does Not Dream of series. It is just really great voice acting, really good animation and cinematography. Chef's kiss on this. Like this, I did some film stuff in high school. I did not do any college, so my level of cinematography and film understanding is a high school level. So I'm not gonna fucking pretend that I know a lot. But from what I know, and also just my little heart just is encapsulated in love with all of the subtleties, all of the framing, just every little pause. The Rascal Does Not Dream of series is very slow, especially the movies. I feel like even more so. These movies, there's a lot of silence. Sometimes just a lot of background. Like sometimes it's just background noise. It's just like water, sink water, like birds chirping, people. Like it's just there's just so much. They use silence or just lack of sound so fucking well. And there's just a lot of moments of just nothing happening, but everything happening. There's so much emotion displayed in some of these scenes that are just very simple and very like there's just a lot of expression with both the faces, the sound design, and then just the simple actions. It just there's a lot of strong emotions in these movies, in the series especially, but these movies, especially the first one. It's a lot of about self-discovery, getting over trauma. Like there's these two characters. For those who don't know the Rascal series, we're not going to go into it. This video is long enough, but you should definitely check out the anime. I think especially the first arc, which is the Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. It's the best arc. I think the anime as a whole is still really good, but the first arc's the best. And then I think all three movies are fantastic. Again, the first of the doubleheaders in this is Sister Venturing Out is the better one of the two. But I think that they're just really good at just conveying emotion and using every form available to them in the medium, the animation, the sound design, the voice acting. I could just go on, but as you can hear my fucking voice, and then we have Game of the Year, Metaphor Refantasio, my Game of the Year, my goat, my fucking goat. It's the best video game released this year, and maybe one of the best video games of all time. I think it might. We're gonna let it sit. We're gonna let it fester. Not fester, because that's bad. And the opposite of fester, anti-fester. Since it came out in October, and this is being recorded mid-December. I beat it about a month ago, so it's still recency. But I think it's the best Atlas game. I think it's better than Persona 3, 4, and 5. As it stands, I think it's just so fucking good. The combat is more fun. I like that as much as I love Persona games, Atlas does something I think is I don't know. They encourage replays. You cannot do everything. You cannot explore every character storyline, every side quest, every social link. You can't do in a Persona game in one run. But they're fucking 80 to 100 hour jrpgs. Like you can't really play them again. You can. Some people do, but like it's a little counterproductive to say, hey, if you want to experience these little storylines, do another playthrough. Hope you fucking don't have a life or don't have time. But the fact that Metaphor, even though it will hurt it on replay, you can easily experience everything. Every character storyline, every side quest. I 100% of the game, basically, except the post-game stuff. Like I did every single side quest, every social link was all completed, and also I would say pretty easily. Like they give you more than enough time to do everything in the game in one single playthrough, and that I think is something that just pushes it above 3, 4, and 5 of Persona for me. There's some issues with some of the writing. They definitely do some bullshit Deus Ex Machina to get themselves out of some holes. They also have a good villain for once. Persona villains suck. Lewis is a good fucking villain, even though he is hurt. At times, the writing, again, some of the Deus Ex Machina, some of the things he does are really stupid and kind of don't go with what the character would do. And they do it because they were in a hole and need the video game to continue, but every bad decision of the writers make just hurts Lewis, which is a shame because he is the most interesting villain they've ever written. And yeah, if you don't like Persona games, if you don't like JRPGs, you will not like Metaphor. This is not a game that's going to change your mind on a genre. But if you like Persona games, you've already played it. You don't need 34 minutes in this video to tell you to go play Metaphor. If you like turn-based JRPGs, and you should play it. But yeah, it's my game of the year. It's not close. Sorry, Astrobot. I honestly think Metaphor could be my second favorite game of all time. But I'll let things kind of sit for a bit. Recency bias. Next year, maybe when Persona 6 comes out in 10 years, we can talk and kind of see where I rank Metaphor. But right now, it's one of my favorite games ever made. And game of the year. Easy. All in all, I think there's a lot of really good media. I'm not a big TV show guy. That's why there's no TV show. The only TV show, literally, I think Arcane is the only show I watched. Oh, I did watch Den to Den. I didn't really I thought the manga was just fine, but I really like cool animation. So the trailers and stuff interested me. So been watching Dan to Dan. Dead to Don. I think I'm saying it wrong. It's okay. It's pretty good. It's really pretty. It's really fucking pretty. They did a really good job. But yeah, that and Arcane, I think, are the only shows I've watched this year. I don't watch TV. I play video games and I read manga. So there you go. Rambling over.